All right. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Laudis Acosta. I am the chair of the Education, Youth, and Libraries Committee. This is Bronx Community Board 7's Education, Youth, and Libraries Committee. The committee agenda is as follows. We have some updates, hopefully from the DOE, New York Public Library, CEC District 10, the Williamsbridge Oval Rec Center, DOE's Office of Family and Community Engagement, Advocates for Children, and I believe ACS, as well as Girls Prep Bronx the Second, which is well, we'll hear more on that soon. But on March 21st, 2023, Mayor Adams issued Executive Order 363, extending the state of emergency through May 21st, 2023. Boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the Video Conferencing Law, Chapter 56, Part WW. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and video recording will be made available on our website. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, controls while joining from landline or cell by calling dial-up number. I'm sorry, that was confusing. Point is, if you're on a landline, use *6 to mute or unmute yourself and *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will conduct this meeting is as follows. Penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation if anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or language, personal attacks, threats, or any behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenders will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban of the participant. If in-person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities shall be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker/presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in new business or addressed at the next meeting, granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussions, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussion after each presentation/agenda item and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions relating to this meeting software or to our process, please use the chat function or raise hand function now or contact the Deputy District Manager. Okay. We will now take attendance. 1 second while I share my screen. Okay. All right, Laudis Acosta, present. Janelle Robinson. Janelle Robinson. Okay. Jenny Medina.
Present.
Thank you, Jenny. Adeline Walker Santiago.
Present. Adeline Walker Santiago, present.
Thank you. Tasha Andrews.
Tasha Andrews, present.
Thank you, Tasha.
You're welcome.
Happy to see you all, my committee members. All right. So to start off, I do want to get some, I guess, housekeeping out. So as you might know, the Yankee Scholarship, we've been sharing it for the past month. As an update, we do have 5 applicants so far, which we've that's a big improvement from last year. And they all meet the criteria. So stay tuned for when the voting process will begin. But just know that it's not going to waste as it kind of did to some extent last year. The education Youth and Libraries Committee at Bronx Community Board 7. We are currently planning a collaborative literacy event in late May or early June in collaboration with the council member Pierina Sanchez, but we're also looking to, it looks like we're gonna work with Literacy Inc. and the Norwood Community Library. We're open to having additional community members and leaders join us. So if you're interested, I'm gonna share my email in the chat, but just know that that's currently in the works. Last but not least, and this was an agenda item, but I'm just gonna announce it because it was me that wanted to share this. But there's a program called Imagination Library. And I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see. But this program, I'll share my screen first. Okay, this is a program that's been around for a while. It's called Imagination Library, and basically it's 100% free. Parents are able to sign up, and their child can, when they sign up, their child will receive free books in the mail, one each month until their 5th birthday. And luckily, most of the zip codes within our community board catchment area are eligible for this. And what you want to do is go to imaginationlibrary.com. On the top right, click check availability. You pick the country we're in, type in the zip code. I'm using mine as an example. Bronx, New York, check. And then it'll tell you that it's available in your area. So you get to continue and you file some simple information, which is pretty much the child's date of birth, your mailing address, email address. So I just think this is a great resource for all of our community members to take advantage of. I'm gonna ask everyone to, share with your neighbors. If you know someone who serves the 0 to 5 population, let them know that this free resource is available to them and others within these zip codes. You can also share with other people in the Bronx who, just try it out. If their zip code is eligible, they might find out. I just wanted to share that. It's free books. I guess if you sign up through birth, you can your child can receive up to 60 books. And we all know the importance of literacy, the importance of building a home literacy environment. So I guess that's unofficially agenda item number 1. And we'll move on to start the meeting, but thank you. So is there anyone outside of the Office of Family and Community Engagement office, anyone from the DOE with updates?
Good afternoon. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm with the Department of Education's Office of Family and Community Empowerment. My name is Serge St. Ledger Jr. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I have a slot for you, but this is more for we've been trying to get a DOE rep like that directly from the DOE to kind of share updates, but I kind of allow that space to see if they've joined us. So you have a spot in the agenda, but this was not it.
Okay.
So, sorry for the confusion.
It's all right. I'll keep quiet. No problem.
All right. Anyone from our New York Public Libraries in attendance?
Yes,
Good
hi.
evening.
Oh, there's 2 of us. I'll let the second person speak.
Yeah, whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Jane Addison Amoya from the Moshulu Library. I have a few stuff to talk about. Just to tell you about our upcoming programs. We have NYPL After School, which is for kids ages 6 to 12. So when school finishes, we would like them to join us at the library for homework help, recommendations for amazing books to borrow, fun writing, STEAM and enrichment activities. So please tell your students to join us at the library from Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. for after school. our ESOL classes started today, and it's going on till June 2023. So April through June, we have our ESOL classes in person at the library. We also have a few more upcoming programs with World Literature Festival celebration. That's in celebration of the World Literature. We have Family Storytime and Craft on Thursday, April 27th at 11 a.m. We also have College and Career Pathways program for unscheduled college preparation and counseling on May 1st and 8th at 4 p.m. Also, May 4th, we have twin and teen do-it-yourself jewelry box programs and online conversation programs for beginners at 11:30 a.m. So we have most of our in-person programming going on, and we ask that you inform your friends, kids, grandkids to come to the library and join us. I think that's what I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane. Does anyone from the
You're
committee?
welcome.
Yeah. Does anyone from the committee have any questions for Jane and the Mashalu Library? Does anyone from the public have any questions from the Mashalu Library? Okay, thank you for stopping. Oh, go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to say I went a couple times over spring break to the Marshall Library. It was so clean and the staff were so nice. You guys are doing such a great job over there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your comments. Thank you.
I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing, AJ. Okay, does anyone else from the public have any questions or comments for the Mashalu Library? All right, and on to our second New York Public Library presenter.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janae. I'm from the Bronx Library Center here in Fordham. Much as a follow-up that as Jean has already stated with all of you, we do have a college and career pathways. I just want to clarify that that program is located at various libraries. It's also located at this library as well. So if you have any teams who are interested in building a portfolio to get into college or to need help writing their essays to get into college, then the college and career pathways is the way to do it. They do get a stipend or a grant, I should say, of $1,500 if they're a senior, a little less if they're a junior or freshman in the program. But if they need help buying supplies for college, it's a great way to do that. Of course, it's free of charge. Same with NYPL After School. That's located at all of our branches. So like if you have a young one that needs help with homework, please come and drop them off at our NYPL After School. We also have a career services here at Bronx Library Center. So if you know any adults who need help looking for a job or need help building their resume or maybe need a stronger resume, we do have a career services here in our Cyrus Yarkos Foundation Library downtown. So regardless of where they are, we have a location and services that can help them. So follow up and to end my very long spiel, we do have a really big program for our teens coming up on May 13th. That's a Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. We're calling it our Bronx Week Spring Reset Celebration. Of course, we have a big lineup of programs planned for them. We are going to have a public art display. So we have invited muralists to publicly paint some art. So if they want to see how graffiti art is painted, they can come to that and see how that is done. We'll also have some pizza for our teams as well. So if you know any young people who need anything to do on a Saturday, tell them to drop by that day.
Thank you so much. And can you remind me how you pronounce your name, please?
That's Janae, like Renee, just Janae.
Gotcha. Just making sure I didn't want to mispronounce it. Okay, does anyone from the committee have any questions for Janae and the Bronx Library Center? I have a question, Janae. You might have heard, but we are hosting or we're in the process of putting together a literacy event. How does like collaboration look like? Like, is it possible for us to work together for an event like that? And what would that look like?
it really depends on what you want to do for the event. So if it's like a tabling something, then definitely we have the space for the table. If you need just a space for them to come and talk to an audience, we do have a auditorium that you can use. I would suggest you just reach out to us, and we can definitely solidify what you need from us, and then we can help you from there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are you our new, I guess, liaison or rep?
I can't tell you. Like, I've just been asked to come in and like just tell them what's happening at the Bronx Library Center. Maybe, but this may be like my one maybe future appearance. But I'm definitely the young adult supervising librarian here. So if you need any help with like in teens in general, then I'm the person to speak to, at least for the Bronx Library Center.
Awesome, thank you. And if you can just please leave an email in the chat.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Does anyone from the public have any questions or comments for the Bronx Library Center and Janae? No. Okay. Moving the agenda along. 1 second. Okay. Is anyone from the Williamsbridge? I'm sorry. Is anyone from CEC District 10 in attendance? Okay. Is anyone from the Williamsbridge Oval Rec Center in attendance?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tatiana. I'll be representing Williamsbridge Oval this evening. Is it my turn to talk, or is just attendance?
The floor is all yours. The floor is all yours.
All right, guys. So I hope everyone is having a good evening. I have a lot going on, so grab a pen and some paper. I'll also put everything in the chat because I know it's going to be a lot. So we have a family art night coming up. Our theme is a celebration for mothers. So we want all of our youths and teens to come out and create like beautiful works of art to gift to their parents, their loved ones, their grandparents. This event is going to be May 9th. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here at Williamsbridge Oval. I'll put the address in the chat if you guys are interested. We also have a couple family day events coming out. So basically, we are collaborating with a couple councilmen, and they're just basically giving back to the community. They're going to be family games, sports, cotton candy, relay races. And okay, so let me give you guys the dates. So the first one is going to be April 26th from 4 to 6. The next, May 11th, 4 to 6. And last, May 20 from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. So that one is absolutely free, open to the public. Everyone can come. Next up, we do have free programming here at Williamsbridge Oval. It is targeted for our kids between 6 to 13, but if you know 14, 15, that's fine. We have free after school here from 3 to 6. We also have free soccer on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays from 12 to 2. So if you know anyone that's interested in sports, boys, girls, come over. You can ask for Victor or Oscar. They're our soccer guys. And lastly, we have a girls TikTok dance challenge. It's new. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:15. This is just something to get our like young women, active and out of the streets basically. Everyone loves TikTok, and I think that this is like a fun way to just grab some of their attention, and then basically open them up to other things to do so that they're not just aimlessly, out in the streets. So that's everything that we have so far with the Williamsbridge Oval Recreation Center.
Tatiana, thank you so much. Never a dull moment when the Williamsbridge Oval Rec Center is in attendance. Does anyone from the committee have any questions for Tatiana? Okay, does anyone from the public? AJ, I see you have your hand up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I heard oval and dancing, but I didn't hear anything about the skate park. Can we please have some more skate dance events? Thank you so much.
Yes, so I'll make a note of that and send it over to the chiefs. You guys want more events for the skate park?
Yes, there's a current trend on TikTok where a lot of people started
Oh.
skating and rollerblading. So I would say jump on that, get the kids off the drugs and guns and get them on skates. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Does anyone else from the public have any questions or comments? Okay, Tatiana, thank you so much. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Okay, Serge, the Office of Family and Community Engagement or Empowerment? I'm sorry,
Empowerment.
empowerment.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me, first of all. And Laudis, is that the way to pronounce your first name?
Yes, it's Laudis, but I also
Laudis.
I also go by Lou, so don't feel bad.
No, Laudis. I pronounce it the way it should be pronounced. No problem. And I think you had a few questions, and I sent you some answers to that. Did you receive those answers? I sent an updated one at 6:37, right before this
I
meeting.
got that. Let's
Okay.
get to that at the end of your presentation, just so I can surface it for our.
Okay. So what usually happens at these committee meetings, usually you have your CEC member that attends. It's very rare that there's a DOE representative that actually attends committee meetings. However, I was asked to attend this particular meeting just to give you some general knowledge about our office and let you know about how to get any answers, questions moving forward. So I am the general contact person for all community boards across the city. I don't necessarily have all the answers, not even necessarily. I do not have all the answers. Don't need to qualify my answer there, but I can definitely navigate around the Department of Education to get any answers or address any issues that come up for your community board. Okay. So Lotus, I included my contact information in my email. So my name, email address, and desk, and my office phone number. So feel free to share that with anyone who's looking for, have any questions, or I'm not sure if you sort of ask people to sort of route questions to you or your particular board president, and they send it off to the DOE, but however you send questions to us, I'm the right person to contact moving forward. Okay.
Got it. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Well, and just to give you a quick synopsis of the makeup of the Office of Family and Community Empowerment, we have 4 teams in our office. We have the governance team, parent mentorship, homeschool partnerships, and community partnerships. I am the senior director for the community partnerships team, and we are responsible, just like it sounds, trying to broach partnerships across a few buckets, if you will. The private sector, other city agencies, community-based organizations, cultural institutions, and we also deal with advocates and faith-based organizations as well. So it's a large portfolio, essentially with the aim of trying to coordinate all these different entities around the city to better support parents. And they're all borough-based, so that's the way we're trying to attack our work. So all the city agencies, cultural institutions, private institutions, etc., in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and Staten Island. That's the way we're sort of organizing them. But as you well know, there are many citywide agencies and organizations as well. And then we try to sort of move those around or direct them to the particular borough where the help is needed. So we are a multifaceted office. We deal with many constituencies, from the CECs, the PTAs, to principals, assistant principals, parent coordinators, superintendents, and the public as large, as I just described. So we're a very busy office, and we're definitely trying to position ourselves to be sort of the main contact to community organizations, community boards specifically. So again, feel free to share my information, and we'll gladly answer any questions moving forward.
Thank you, Serge. So I guess so in short summary, your main goal and your office's main goal is to kind of be like bridge the gap between community and the DOE.
That's my team's goal, my specific team. That's the goal for my specific team. The office in general is helping to support families across the city across different issues, right? Some have to do with curriculum-based issues, some have to do with their education, some have to do with families needing services. So it's all different types of iterations of what type of help families need. But my team in particular, the community partnerships team, is responsible for bridging the gap that you just referenced.
Got it. That helps. So it's kind of a broad, you guys cover a lot, but I see how your team and the office itself operates.
Mhm.
I'll take any questions from board members. Chad, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Surge. Thank you for attending our meeting today. My question is regarding to the PA. So I happen to be part of a PA at my daughter's school. My question is, what kind of resources could your office provide to PAs and PTAs who are looking to get parents more involved?
So our, let's see, so it's twofold. So our parent mentorship team actually helps train parent coordinators to do just that, to better support families across a myriad of needs that we come across. And we also work with superintendents, principals, and assistant principals to get them to think about how best to support their PAs as well, and strengthen their ability to strengthen those relationships across the board. So I can't give you any specifics, but there are trainings that happen throughout the year to support PAs and PTAs, and not to mention the other constituencies within a school building that they deal with. So principals, assistant principals, superintendents, etc.
Okay, thanks. So those meetings are parents of the schools allowed to attend those trainings, or is that specific to the administration?
There are some trainings that are open to parents as well. And when when they do become available, we make them, we make sure that the parent coordinator knows and to open it up to parents as well. But there are opportunities for parents to be involved in trainings as well.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. I would be personally interested in that.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
Sure. So I would recommend just reaching out to your parent coordinator at your school and your CEC. And again, you have my contact information if there's someone here in the office. I know there's someone here in the office. I can answer that question specifically. So if you email me that question, I could definitely get you that answer. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Do any other board members have any questions for Serge and the Office of Family and Community Empowerment? Before I open it up to the entire public, Serge, so will we have someone coming back to our future meetings? We do meet once a month. And we've been wanting like a type of, I guess, DOE rep, someone to help.
Again, I would not necessarily count on that, only because that is usually what the CEC representatives do as far as their attendance to these types of meetings. And they in turn sort of bubble it up to us. And we want to, I think it's best to happen that way because they're closer to the ground and they know exactly what type of issues are bubbling up to the surface. For us or anyone else here at Central to attend the meeting, I mean, we're really once, twice removed, right? I mean, I can give you general answers, but the person who's closest to the ground, the CEC member, that would be the person to start with. But again, if there's any additional support that you're needed, again, you have my information. Feel free to reach out to me, and if there is if Central attendance is necessary, we'll definitely make that available to you.
Got it. That makes sense. Apologies if I repeated my question.
No problem. And I actually put my contact information in the chat. So feel free to take it down, but you have it in my email as well.
Awesome. Does anyone from the public have any questions for Serge? Okay, so I'll just because I had some members, I guess, email me some questions prior. I'm gonna resurface those, and I guess I'll give you an opportunity to answer that again. But we'll keep it simple. So, one question was, what supports are available for foster children? And your answer was that the office supporting foster children is under the auspices of the Office of Community Supports and Wellness. So
Yes,
that means there's a separate dedicated office for these cases.
that is correct. And under the Office of Community Supports and Wellness, there's a team called the Socially Vulnerable Students Team that helps support um, kids in foster care. Right. It's a not to say it's brand new. We've always sort of supported that population, but I think this particular administration really wants it to be a really pinpoint focus. Hence, that's why there's a particular team for this particular group of students.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then the last question on this end was that I guess we want to know, what are the current priorities / initiatives of your office? You mentioned a couple, but can you expand a little bit on?
Sure. What I have listed here are the 4 teams that I explained before. So the governance team that helps support the community education councils, the citywide community education councils, the PTAs, our family leadership, family liaison. Oh God, I'm getting that right. Family support coordinators and family support liaisons who are at the district level. Then we have our homeschool partnerships team that helps support the superintendents, principals, and assistant principals. And then we have a parent mentorship team that supports the parent coordinators and parents as well. And a community partnership, the community partnerships team, the team that I lead, builds partnerships with advocates, city agencies, cultural institutions, CBOs, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, and the private sector. So our priorities are really within those 4 teams. But the priority currently right now is about the CEC elections. So for those of you who have kids in your system, have kids in the public schools, please make sure that you vote. And if you're not running for the CEC, make sure that you vote at the very least. It's very important for all parents to be involved in this process. So I would definitely encourage that. That's sort of the primary, that's a priority right now. And I think voting starts, I think either today or tomorrow, actually. So please get the word out to your parents.
All right, Serge, that was a lot of info. I definitely learned a little more and can say I kind of understand way more this whole, I guess, me as a chair, I just try to get the right people on. So that was very helpful. So thank you for that. And keep up the good work.
I'll try. I'll try. But again, if there are any other future questions, you have my contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Gotcha. We'll do.
All right.
Information is in the chat. There you have it.
Okay, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Right. Okay, so moving on. Imagination Library, we spoke about that. Advocates for children.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Ross.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. So you sent me the PowerPoint. Do you need me to share it yet, or do you want to do a little intro first?
You can go ahead and share. That's fine. That works.
Gotcha. 1 second. Just let me know when to go to the next slide.
Okay, I can do that.
Oops. All right, here goes.
Ooh. Oh, I don't think that's our PowerPoint.
Oh,
No. I mean, I have, if Can I share my screen? Because I have one
Yeah,
ready
you should
here.
have, you have, is it letting you?
No, it says it's disabled by the host.
Got it. How about now?
Okay, let me see. All right, that works well. So let me just present this real quick. Okay. All right, so thank you for bearing with me through the technical difficulties, but it's nice to see everyone. So I'm here from Advocates for Children of New York. We represent all 5 boroughs, and I'm going to get into what we do a little bit more. But again, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's cool to be at a district board meeting. So today's workshop, or today's like brief presentation, I'm just going to tell you about who Advocates for Children are, who we serve, how to contact us, and the intake process. So I'll make sure that I also send all these slides over to Laurice, just so we have, just so he can disperse information to everyone. Just because the best way to utilize our service is through contacting us directly, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second. So we're an independent agency that protect the rights of New York City students in the DOE. So just to like highlight again, we're independent of the DOE. So the way I would put it is we work alongside the DOE, and we help families basically navigate whatever issue they have within the education system. So here, the first thing you'll see is we have a little box where we talk about helpline, and that's the main way to get in touch with us. So that's a free helpline that operates from Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can call about really any issue related to education. And then from there, that's how you would get like escalated into getting a case, or often on helpline, our helpline team can kind of just like help troubleshoot issues directly without needing to escalate to a case. But if there is further casework needed, they can escalate to like an advocate or a lawyer within our organization. And then we also have guides and resources on our website, which I'll direct you to a little bit later, along with workshops and trainings. And then we also try to do policy advocacy and impact litigation. But all of our services are completely free, including the guides, workshops. So those are all available on YouTube. But we also do guides or trainings like you can request here, like Laurice said. So just to continue a little bit. Okay. So we're a small agency. We represent all 5 boroughs. But I'm excited to be talking to you guys in the Bronx today. And here are a bunch of our projects. So there's a lot of information here, but basically, this is just to provide a snapshot that we do a lot of comprehensive work really on all issues related to the DOE. So like, for example, I heard someone just before this was asking about, like educational opportunities for students in foster care. Like our Project Achieve is a project that focuses specifically on helping support students in foster care and make sure that they're getting the education they're entitled to. We have the Parent Center, which is what I'm representing right now, and we do a lot of trainings, workshops, and provide information to parents. I also work on a school justice project team, and that's where we help represent students in suspension hearings. But we do a ton of services. A lot of what we do is focus on special education, making sure that students are getting the appropriate placement, making sure students are getting evaluated for everything early on. So we do trainings around basically how parents can begin that process for themselves, but then also should students or families run into any issue within the DOE, we're then there to help kind of troubleshoot and work through those issues, whether that's through representation or just through technical advice. So as I said before, all of our services are completely free. We operate only in the city, but sometimes there are some cases where like we'll have students who are from the district, the city, who might need a special placement at a school outside the city. And in that case, we kind of like expand our network and we help work with families who need a little bit more assistance. Helpline, like I said, I'll go to a helpline page later, and I'll also send the the presentation along later so you guys have access to it. But helpline is like the main way that I would recommend you contact us. And that's where you can get technical assistance or direct case representation. So then that other thing is representation, and we offer free legal representation sometimes. There are income requirements, but we just check with the family, and usually we're pretty familiar with the families by the time we get to a point where we're considering legal representation. And we do workshops, guides, and resources, and then we also have language access. So we try to make sure that our information can be dispersed in really any language. So this is what our website looks like, advocatesforchildren.org. There you kind of can navigate through our different projects. You can go to the resources and see workshops and webinars. We have plenty of webinars on YouTube, from Special Education 101 to School Discipline to Turning 5, which is all about how to enroll the students who are turning 5 in school. And then also you can reach out to us and request in-person workshops or in-person trainings. But this is how you can engage with really everything that we do. And you'll see when you go to the website, the first thing there is the helpline number, just because, like I said, that's really the best way to like begin representation or begin working with us in any capacity. And the helpline team is really great, and they kind of have like a comprehensive knowledge of everything related to schools. So the guides we have here, like I said before, here's a list of the guides. We try to have them in as many languages as possible. We need to update a few, I think, but we also have hard copies, which we bring along to fairs. So yeah. So those guides are available to anyone on our website. And if you want to reach out, I'll include my contact information at the end. I can also send over direct links to any of those. All right, so these are the ways to directly get in touch with us. This is a helpline number. I'll make sure that there's a copy of this slide shared with everyone, just so you all have it. And then also, if you'd prefer to write to us, you can at this email here, info@advocatesforchildren.org. Usually we can provide assistance when you email in, but it's sometimes easier to have a conversation over the phone. But if it's not feasible, then we're happy to respond to a web message or to use the email. So in helpline, they'll refer to an intake team if they can address your concern right there, and you'll be paired with someone who works on a project more specific to your concern. And again, you can find a topic in our workshop catalog. You can email an inquiry about workshops to workshops@advocatesforchildren.org. And we staff those trainings as quickly as we can. I'm actually the one who monitors that email, so I try to respond, and that's how we got in touch to help out here. So it's a great resource. Also, the slide should be amended where we tend to do things virtually, but also like if you prefer in person or it's more accessible to parents, we can travel to wherever you are. We just need a little bit of heads up to make sure we can staff an event. And then our webinars are on our YouTube channel, which you can either search on YouTube or you can just go to our website at advocatesforchildren.com. And from there, you'll see a list of our webinars. And you can see anyone that interests you. And then the last thing I'll talk about is one of the things we do, and it's a little difficult because we mainly provide direct service representation and direct services to families, but we try to do policy work as well, where we try to work with families and see what people are saying, see what issues are affecting families in the DOE. And then we try to work to write policy change, join coalitions with other organizations, and write reports, and try to work with lawmakers to get some of what we're seeing actually passed in local government, because we work directly with the parents and we see tons of cases. But yeah, that's just what we do a little bit more broadly. So you can stay in touch. You can get AFC emails, our Blackboard bulletin, which is weekly, or a newsletter 3 times a year. And you can find information for those on our website. And then also you can follow us on social media. And also in the presentation that I send along after, all these things will have hyperlinks, so you can just click directly on them and kind of navigate for yourself. All right, and that's pretty much it. I'll just leave this slide up for a little bit while I answer any questions. This is our helpline number. This is our email. And then, like I said, I'll send everything along to Laris.
Ross, thank you so much. That was info packed. I do have a question to start before I ask our board members.
Sure.
Well, you mentioned you guys work, with lawmakers, I guess, to influence policy.
Mhm.
Are there any specific, like, I'll use priorities for the lack of a better term, like right now that you guys are focusing on?
So yeah, sure. So I mean, I can speak to I'll speak to what I know more specifically, because I work primarily in parent training and workshops like we're doing now, but then also I work a lot in school discipline. So I know that one of our big things that we're working on this summer and that we've been working on for a while is we help draft state legislation, which would reduce kind of the frequency of suspensions in school and make sure that we're trying to make sure schools are using what's called a more progressive discipline, meaning that we're actually like talking to students a little bit more like restoratively about what they're doing and making sure that there's more kind of interventions in place before like immediately going to a really long suspension, so that students aren't missing a lot of school. So I know we're doing a bunch more, but that's like just what I can speak to for one example. But there is more information about the policy work we do on our website. And if you have any specific questions about any other types of policy you're interested in, let me know and I can connect you with someone, or I can send you the right information on our website.
Gotcha. No, that was helpful. And then one last question.
Yep.
So outside of what you just mentioned, are there
Mhm.
any other, like, when we're talking about the broad, like just New York City public schools, what are some of the more pressing issues like facing our students today? What would you say?
Well, what I can say, what we work a lot with is making sure that students are getting a fair and appropriate education. So the phrasing around that is more specifically about special education and disabilities, because one thing unfortunately that we see a lot is students who aren't being evaluated for disabilities, or students who have disabilities who have IEPs who aren't getting their needs met by the school. So that's like where a lot of the heavy lifting of what we do comes in, which is like to ensure that students are getting all the services they're entitled to so they can learn to the best of their ability. And then, yeah, I mean, I would say that's really one of the main ones. And then, yeah, I mean, priorities have shifted a little bit as, schools have reintegrated into in-person learning from COVID. So we're kind of like feeling things out anew now, because, there was this year plus long break where students weren't actually in schools. But yeah, that's definitely one I can think of off the top of my head.
Thank you. So I'll open it up to board members.
Okay.
Chad, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, good evening. Mr. Baker, I want to thank you for your presentation. I have 2 questions. One, do you assist parents whose children attend Catholic schools or private schools in New York?
Yeah, so we tend to, so the best way to get in touch is with our helpline or with the email. And it's a little bit more difficult because a lot of what we do is kind of like we're really familiar with DOE policy, placements around DOE policy, but of course, those things also kind of fall under the umbrella of education in the city, because we, like, some students are in charter schools or private schools as a, instead of public schools. So yeah, we try to serve families as best we can. And then another thing we do also is, like, we have a lot of like partner agencies. So we have a lot of resources for families who are in need of different things. So, like, if we can't address something specifically with a private school, we're more than likely going to have someone who we can connect you with, who will know better about how to support the family.
Okay, thank you. And my other question has to do with someone whose name I won't mention, but they would like to find out what kind of recourse they have if they feel that their child was wrongfully suspended.
That's a good question. There's a few things they can do, and I can send you more specific, like, discipline kind of guide that we have, which is really helpful. Just because there's different types of suspensions, and depending on the suspension, I could tell you, like, what specifically to do. Because but just for what I'll say generally is that families have a right to appeal, and there are different appeal processes, but I'll make sure that I can send you over a discipline guide along with my information, because that's where I do the bulk of my work. But just, I think, for the sake of, like, not getting too into the weeds,
Understood.
I'll leave it at that, just because, yeah, there's a lot that families can do and a lot that we can help with, but a lot of it is, like, contingent on the specific situation.
I appreciate that. And again, thank you. I'll leave my email in the chat as well.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do any other board members have any questions for Ross and Advocates for Children? Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Heather, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. Good evening, Mr. Ross. I have a question. My name is Heather Guidino. I am a domestic violence advocate, and I'm also an advocate for children as well. And I'm here to also speak on behalf of foster children. So I have a quick question. During a trial discharge, does ACS and the Board of Education communicate with the attorneys? If there's issues going on within the school, how, and if they do communicate with each other, is the issues that the child might be having in school, is that going to be presented in court? Because the parent is on a trial discharge basis to see if she's ready to actually get her children back altogether. So how does the Board of Education come into play?
That's a good question. I don't have the specific information for that, but someone in our organization does. Okay. So I wish I could answer the question right here, but if you want, I can give you my information to follow up, and I can send that question to someone who works for Project Achieve on our team, who works with students in foster care. Okay. Just because they'll know better than I do. So I don't want to give you an answer just to give you an answer, because I don't know off the top of my head.
Right. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you so much for trying to answer the question. Thank you. And I just have a quick comment for everyone too, because it takes a village to raise a child. And sometimes people know that a parent, especially if she's a single or he's a single parent, and there's difficulties, it's good as a community to reach out and say, you know what, let me help out. What do you need me to do? Why don't we meet up at the library, and they can play in the library or read books, and it'll give you an opportunity to maybe take a little break. Because I think sometimes parents want help, but they're scared to actually ask for help. So we need to also chip in as a community to try to ease the responsibility of being a parent.
Thank you for that, Heather. That's very true. I mean, it does take a community. I will say, Heather, feel free to follow up with Ross. Ross, if you can just add your email in the chat, just for those who might have missed it during the presentation, follow up, he can get you the answer and connect you with the right people. Does anyone else in the public have any questions for Ross and Advocates for Children? Okay, Ross, thank you so much for joining us. That was very helpful. I know personally as a student, I've used the resources on the website for Advocates for Children to get a bunch of like information. So
Yeah.
shout outs to you guys.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. I'll send you the slides so you can send them along to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you for that. All right, moving along. Is anyone here from Parent and Children's Rights Advocate from ACS? I might have read that wrong.
Hi, Lourdes. This is Cynthia Brabham.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, how are you? So I am from New York City Children, Administration for Children's Services. And I am the Deputy Director of Outreach and Community Engagement for the Division of Youth and Family Justice for the Family Assessment Program. So I sent you my slides.
Yes, and that's what I confused that earlier. So I'll share my screen and just talk to me. Let me know when you need me to move forward.
Okay.
All right. Can folks see the slides?
Yeah.
All right. The floor is all yours.
Okay, so the Division of Youth and Family, you could go to the next slide. Family Assessment Program is comprised of 3 areas: detention, close to home, and community-based alternatives. I am from the Family Assessment Program, which is called FAT. It's a free voluntary preventive service. You can go to the next slide. I'm sorry, Lourdes. Free voluntary preventive services for families who have struggles and conflicts with their youth from the ages of 10 to 18 years old. So it's about reducing the conflict in the home and keeping families together. So if you have a youth that you feel is hanging out with the wrong crowd, truancy, drug treatment, drug use, mental health, that's where we come in. This program is opposite of child protection. We're about keeping families together and having a resource and a supportive resource for families before child protection is called in, before NYPD may knock on your door saying that your child is accused of, doing something wrong. So this is a preventive measure. This takes also the place of PINs. Before, back in the day, you used to go into court and say, "Judge, I need a person in need of PINs," which is a person in need of supervision. The judge will no longer grant that. You have to come to the Family Assessment Program. He will refer you straight to us. And then if our services do not work, then we will file a court petition for you and go in front of you with the judge saying more services are needed. You could do next slide, please. So I just went through the person in need of supervision piece. If a PINS petition is filed, a PINS respondent is not detained in a secure facility, a judge can only place the child in an ACS foster care setting. Next slide. We also are located in all 5 boroughs. When the family comes into, the family has to reach out to us. We do not knock on your door. We do not reach out to you. So if the family or the child want services, they will come into our borough offices. They will be met with a licensed social worker. They will do an intake with the family and the child. They'll speak to the child separately. They'll speak to the parents separately, and then they'll speak to them together. We fund our community-based organizations, and you all will decide what services are needed for this family. And it'll be in-home licensed social work services. Next slide. So this is our service continuum as far as therapy. So we have 6. Family stabilization, mentoring, advocacy is our lowest level of service or therapy. The next service, and that can be short term. The next service is a functional family therapy and brief strategic family therapy. That's like middle middle ground as far as defiant behavior, sexually risky behavior, drug use. And then the last two is multi-systemic therapy, substance abuse, and juvenile justice respite. Our respite is our highest level of service. Sometimes a parent and a child is just going through so much crisis that they need to be separated, but it's still voluntary. So again, parent and child have to agree to be voluntary separated for up to 21 days. Next slide. So this is our FAP leadership. On this slide, you will see all 5 boroughs of the directors. Manhattan and Staten Island has the same borough director, but that's all the contact information for all the leadership in all 5 boroughs. And then in our central office, that's our higher leadership to the right. How can I find out more about FAP? You can reach out by email. You can reach out by, which is fappinquiry@acs.nyc.gov. Also, we have the 5 borough offices. You can reach out through the phone numbers also. And that's pretty much the family assessment program. Any questions?
Cynthia, we make a great team. I guess to kick things off, out of curiosity, do you know which services are most used and least used by the people?
No, because we have, I was trying to, it's a bad view. I can't say what services are most used and least used because it depends on the family. It depends on their needs and what they want. But what I will tell you is we always, we're very booked. Like we try to tell DOE uses us a lot, NYPD uses us a lot of agencies uses the family assessment program because a lot of times they don't want to call a child protection case. And sometimes it really isn't child protection. It is just a family needs support and resources before that area comes in. So in a way also it's demystifying ACS because people really do not know this side of service. ACS is 10 divisions. People just know of the child protection division. So this is opposite of that.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Does anyone from the board have any questions for Cynthia and ACS? Okay, opening it up to the public. Heather, do you still have your hand up? I saw you just put it down.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, I have a question. The ACS attorneys, are they required to speak with the foster parent via Zoom or in person just to get an idea of how that child is doing in the foster home to get some clarity before the trial discharge? So if you have a child or children that are in foster care, but they're on trial discharge with their biological parent, is there any form of communication between ACS, the attorneys for the children, and the caseworkers just to get an idea of what is going on before a child discharge is actually determined and made by the judge to release the children to that particular parent?
Hi, Heather. We met before.
Hi, how are you? How you feeling?
I'm good for the Bronx Borough President. So Heather, that's a question for family permanency. That's a whole separate division. So that's not my division. So that's not a question I would be able to answer for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. I will do my homework and try to figure it out.
You know what? Go to Google ACS.
Okay.
And it will tell you all the divisions of ACS and look under family permanency.
Okay.
And they should be able to tell you, and you should be able to get information from there.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'm just asking the question because sometimes what seems to happen if you have a parent who's struggling, they more or less will be in tune to call the foster parent. They'll feel more comfortable to call the foster parent as opposed to let the agency know But biological parents, they have a lot of pride and they're scared to say, listen, I'm not really ready for my children. I do love them, but I'm not ready for them to come back to live with me permanently. When they were visiting on the weekends, that was okay. I can handle it. But now I have to do the everyday grunge work, getting them up for school, getting them ready for school. And they might say, it's overwhelming, but the fear or the stigma that might be attached to stating, well, you're not ready yet for your children to come back. It's been almost going on 2 years. So I think a lot of biological parents struggle with wanting to admit that they're not ready, but then scared to say that they're not ready. So this is the reason why I'm asking the questions, because sometimes the attorneys might not be on the case. They might have a new attorney. The school might know what's happening. They might report it, but there should be some type of communication between the school, the attorney, and ACS to say, hey, this is what's going on. Is anyone looking into this? Because not all caseworkers are really good at what they do. It's just a job to them. So they're not going to really follow through and say, listen, I have a case right now. The mom is on trial discharge. This is what's going on. Who's following through? So it's a big concern right now. A lot of our kids are getting lost in the mix of everything because lawyers are leaving. Sometimes you have caseworkers who are leaving. You have a new caseworker who's coming in, and now they're not really aware of what's going on. But the case has to be presented in front of the judge, because the judge is not going to know what's going on with that child or children unless all parties are able to communicate and let the judge know that, mom is not really ready. This has been going on now during the trial discharge. So she's not ready for the children to be placed back with her permanently.
I would definitely say reach out to the Family Permanency Division.
Okay, I will definitely do that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And one thing I forgot about the presentation is we don't care about your financial status and we don't care about your documentation status. We are here to help everyone.
That's good. Thank you
Okay.
so much for being
You're
available to speak to everyone today and
And
to educate everyone today. Because I think a lot of people, when they hear ACS, they start getting nervous. You're like a can of rain. Everyone starts running and hiding and whatnot. And, they know something is going on within an environment, but they're scared to say something. But like I always tell people, reach out and help that mom, because maybe she's having a hard time. A lot of parents generally love their children, but they're just having a hard time in terms of with parenting skills.
Well, that's what I said. Like ACS is several divisions. It's 10 divisions. Unfortunately, everybody only knows child protection. They don't even know this division and that I'm talking about. They may know about detention with Crossroads and Horizons, but they don't know the other side of the family assessment program, where we are really trying to keep families together and engage families to prevent child protection knocking on your door.
Right. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
thank you for that, Cynthia. Heather, your voice is valued here, so keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, so Cynthia's with ACS, but their family assessment program.
Yes.
Had no idea there are 10 divisions. So one thing we can do is work on getting some of the other ones to join our future meetings. But I learned something new today. Thank you for that. Chad, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, good evening. Once again, another award-winning presentation. I want to thank you for that. So my question is, how does your organization connect with the schools in the districts?
ACS?
Meaning for this particular group, what is the reach like so that parents are aware of this division?
So we go into the schools. We do meetings like this, but we also go into the schools. We'll speak to the parent coordinators. We do presentations. We do tabling. We do events. So if they have back to school events, we do unity days. We go through NYCHA. We go through the mayor's program. But even through DOE, we'll speak to the parent coordinators, principals, the social workers, and then they'll invite us back in to do parent teacher conferences. And we just tell about the program. We have brochures that we have in like 9 different languages, and we just present our program. And like you said, people are not really aware of the family assessment program. Again, ACS is known for removing kids, so it's demystifying. It's the other end of the spectrum.
Thank you for that. And I'm just thinking, if I'm wearing my other hat, I'm part of a PA at my
Okay.
daughter's school.
Okay.
I've never heard of this program, so I'm glad I logged on to this call today.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of ways that we could actually extend the reach. The community board is definitely a good way to do it. I'm just wondering, you said you guys do tabling, right?
Yes.
You do tabling?
Yes.
Yeah, this is, I forgot my question, but I'm sorry, I forgot my question.
I'm gonna put my information in the chat.
Yeah,
You can reach out.
because I think it would be important not only for the parent coordinators, but if the parents can independently get this information, like maybe even our council members' offices or at National Night Out.
We do that too, actually. We participate in National Night Out. We just participated with Piana Sanchez, I think her name is. We participate with the Bronx Borough President. But we're in all 5 boroughs. We partner with Empire. We partner with Montefiore, New York Presbyterian. Like we are just trying to get out there so people can know about this program.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for that.
Okay, any last questions for Cynthia and the family assessment program?
Oh, sure.
Okay, Cynthia, I guess you're trying to leave your email in the chat for those who might. All right.
I put it by accident.
No, it's cool. Do what you got to do. We'll move the agenda forward, but thank you for joining us. That was very helpful.
You're welcome.
And have a good night.
You too.
Okay, next, and I won't say last because I know Link is in the house, but we have Girls Prep Bronx 2.
Yes. Good evening. Am I able to share my screen to get my slides up?
Yes, and before I give you access, Cynthia, you I forgot to mention that you are always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
All right, Noelani, I'm assuming is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, Nolani, that was great.
Oh,
Thank you
Noelani,
so much.
sorry. Noelani, you now have the powers to share your screen.
Fantastic. All right. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Nolani Gabriel Ho. I am the proud principal of Girls Prep Bronx 2, which will be moving to District 10, and particularly our permanent location will be located at 263 East 203rd Street, slated to open in the 2024 to 2025 school year. So I just want to say thank you to the committee for giving us this opportunity to share more information with you all about our school ahead of our move. And I'm honored to be here today to talk about the work that we're doing and the educational opportunities that we're providing for girls here in the Bronx. So first, just a little bit about our school. At Girls Prep, we recite this school cheer. My favorite part of the cheer goes, I always go beyond and above, showing my trust, wisdom, and love. What will I do with all this knowledge? I'll take it with me when I go to college. Some say I can't, but I know I can. My work lifts me up and you hold my hand. This cheer really exemplifies who we are as a school and a network of schools. We endeavor to be uplifting, compassionate, and really provide a learning environment for girls that provides them with a space that's safe and loving to grow into the agents of change that we know they can be. We are a part of a larger network of schools, public prep, and our mission is really to support our scholars in realizing their own inherent greatness And we focus on our 4 core values of scholarship, excellence, community, and integrity in order to support them in building that foundation and cultivating schools that are beacons in the community. So I'm excited to share more specifically about our school. As I mentioned, we're part of a larger network, but the school that is moving to District 10 is Girls Prep Bronx 2. I am part of a leadership team, an amazing leadership team of women that are dedicated to education, dedicated to providing opportunities for our girls and growing our school over the next few years. Both Deshelle and Issa, pictured here, are founding members of the Girls Prep Bronx 2 team. So they were part of the school team 3 years ago in 2020, opened the school in the midst of the pandemic. And Vanessa Teneo is going to be joining us next year. She is currently working at our Lower East Side campus, and she lives in the Bronx, as do I. As for myself, I'm new to the Bronx. I recently moved here from Boston, where I was there for about 6 years working in education. I grew up in Western Mass, where unfortunately I saw how much your zip code could dictate the quality of the education that you receive. And as part of that experience, that's what inspired me to be an educator. I was fortunate enough to have mentors, a supportive family, an excellent early childhood and elementary education that really set me on the path to success. And I believe all of our students and all of the children in the Bronx deserve those same opportunities so that they can carve out a bright future for themselves as well. More broadly, we have a very vibrant and lovely team of educators, teachers, operational staff, school culture, and mental health staff who pour love and encouragement into our students every day. One thing that attracted me and attracts many candidates and educators to public prep is the diversity of the staff and leadership across our network. So we really work hard to attract and retain excellent teachers, particularly teachers of color. It's important to us that our adult community reflects the student community that we serve. And in particular, we know that the research supports the importance of representation for our scholars, that they have folks in front of them each day, educating them, that can be windows to the opportunities that are boundless for them. And it's also a priority for us to attract top talent from the Bronx. So over 50% of our staff are currently reside in the Bronx, and the majority of our leadership team, including myself, reside in the Bronx. And as we move toward District 10, it's also a priority for us to continue that, to continue to increase that number of folks who are part of the community, who live and work in the community. And we pour a lot of time and effort into supporting our teachers and running high quality professional development, because we know that one of the ways to have a healthy school is to have teachers who love what they do and want to stay in the field for a very long time. So we've been excited to have a really strong retention rate over the past 3 years of our school being open. One of our priorities, and I was so excited to hear folks talk today about literacy, and we'll definitely be reaching out to some of the library partners who are present today, because literacy is a major focus for our school and our network right now. You know, that's not a surprise, right? Given the state of literacy in our country and in the city. And we follow evidence-based approaches. We follow the science of reading. It's clear that students need to be provided with opportunities to learn phonics in order to be strong decoders so that they can make meaning of what they read. And so we put a lot of effort and time into literacy instruction because we know that this is not just an issue of schools, but an issue of our entire culture and society. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the results that we've been able to get the past couple of years with literacy. So we use the STEP assessment in order to assess our students' strengths and areas for growth in literacy. It tests fluency, comprehension, a long list of skills I won't bore you with right now. But the goal for kindergarten is to reach a step 3 by the end of the year. And you can see in this chart that at the start of the year, most of our students actually didn't even hit the threshold, the minimum threshold to be considered for this particular assessment. But when they took it again in March, as a result of our emphasis on phonics, on culturally responsive humanities instruction and small group reading, over a third of our kindergartners as of March were already at or above the grade level benchmark in reading. And 56% of them are within 1 to 2 levels of reaching the grade level benchmark by the end of May. So our approach is really to meet students where they are. I focused on kindergarten here because it's sort of an entry point for a lot of students to our schools. And we really want to work with them, meet them where they are in order to propel them forward. Of course, literacy is not the only thing we focus on. Math and science, particularly as a girls' school, are really key to us. It's important to making sure that they have access to STEM careers in the future. I'm really excited that we are able to, we've been able to pilot a new math curriculum this year that's seen some awesome results. It's very tactile, very hands-on for students. And it just recently, I think a week ago, came out as one of the top rated math curriculums for both elementary and middle school. And so we're excited to be using this for all of our students next year. And we really focus on problem solving skills. I know for me as a student, when I was learning math, I really hated just having to do the same kind of problems over and over on a worksheet. And that's not really our approach. We want students to learn how to solve problems organically. And of course, you know, we want them to be successful with calculations, but we really want them to be able to think creatively and work together and collaboratively to solve problems as well. In addition to our core curriculum, we emphasize the arts and wellness. So right now we currently offer visual art and dance for every student. In the next couple of years, we look forward to adding additional specials classes as we grow. This photo on the bottom left is a visit from the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. They came and provided some instruction to our scholars in West African hip hop dance. And we also worked with teaching artists from the Center for Arts Education. Right now, they're actually working with our K-2 scholars to complete a mural. And they're really excited about that. And that mural will be a traveling mural that can go with us from our current space all the way to our permanent space on 203rd Street. And ultimately, the success of our work in a lot of ways is propelled forward by the partnerships we build with families. So we value two-way communication. Our families know that we're approachable. We want to hear from them as much as we also share information with them. I've included here some formal ways that we do that, but informally, I'm at arrival and dismissal almost every day, if not every day in a week. So making sure that, you know, I'm there and available if families have questions, but also we'll approach them with ideas or thoughts, or even just to share a positive story that I noticed during the day when I was in their scholars classroom. And we have a lot of fun events this week. We have our dance showcase. It's going to be another packed house, I'm sure of it. In a couple of weeks, we have our spring semi-formal. The theme is a sneaker ball. So our students are really excited for that. And our families also really are supportive of the school. They come to field trips. They'll come in and support if we have a project that we need additional help with. We have great relationships with our families, and we're very thankful for those families who are going to stick with us, even though we're moving from District 7 to 10, but are also really, really excited to welcome new families from District 10 into our community, and all of the talents and insight that they'll bring. So in terms of our trajectory here, as I mentioned, our 203rd Street location will be ready for fall 2024. At full size, the building can hold 960 students. That's pre-K through 8. It has some really awesome features, that I know will be really attractive to both students and their families, and will provide us with the space not only to nurture them as intellectuals, but also as athletes and artists, right? So a full-size gym, 2-tiered outdoor playground. We'll also have performance spaces, music room, art rooms, and science rooms as well. So we're really excited about this space opening on 203rd Street. And in fact, a couple of the community partners that are here will be really close neighbors. So we're excited to get to know you all as we move to District 10 over the next couple of years. Here are a couple more photos of some of the renderings of the space. And again, it'll be pre-K through 8, co-ed and pre-kindergarten, and single gender school for girls K through 8. So what's next for us? So currently we are on 151st Street in the South Bronx. We are sharing space with our Boys Prep Bronx school, but it's getting a little tight in there. So we are excited to spread our wings and move to District 10, tentatively slated to move to a DOE location for 1 year on Eames Place before moving to our permanent site. And we are eager to meet our new neighbors, our eventual neighbors, and start developing partnerships now so that we can ensure that we're connected to the community, and also so that we can connect our families to the resources, some of the great resources that were already shared here today, like free after school or the family assessment program. We will have an event at St. James Park on May 20th. So you're welcome to come out and join. There'll be some activities for kids, but you also have an opportunity to meet our team and talk more with us about the school and learn about who we are. And we hope we'll get a chance to learn about who you are as well. We are currently accepting applications. So next year we will have seats available in grades K through 3. People can apply now, and we'll be adding a grade every year all the way through 8th grade.
All right. Thank you so much, Nolani. First, I want to say welcome to the Bronx and go Yankees. Gotta make that clear.
Thank you.
Yeah. When you mentioned that it's pre-K, does that include 3K as well?
We do not operate 3K programs. That's a great question. And just to also be clear, we will be pursuing pre-K in 2 years, but we will likely not have pre-K next year when we are in that tentative 124 Eames Place location. So we're hoping to add it back for the 2024 to 2025 school year, but not 3K.
Got it.
Great question, yeah.
Okay, another question I have, and I'm asking out of curiosity, but I guess often I read that charter schools might not, I guess they're often known to be a little more limited with their enrollment capacity and might not always serve like students with disabilities or with special needs. So my question to you guys is, how does Girls Prep Bronx 2 strive to serve all students, including those with special needs?
Yeah, so that's definitely a myth in a lot of ways. My belief as a principal is that we serve the children that come through our doors. I think the only exception to that are students who maybe their IEP requires a more restrictive setting, but we serve who comes to us. And we do that first by getting to know who they are. And so a student may have a disability or specific set of needs, but that's not the only thing about them that's important. So we want to know who they are as a person, what those needs are, and then we meet them where they are. We do a lot of small group instruction. We are very data driven. So we take those assessments, and they're not just to take them and say, okay, well, this is who this student is. It's to understand and kind of get an idea of what their specific strengths and challenges are, and then we adapt our instruction based on that. And we do that for every student, but particularly for students with disabilities or some of our English learners, we just have a really data-centered approach to make sure that we understand what learning they may not have finished so that we can try to get them on grade level.
Got it. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Do any board members have any questions for Nolani? Okay, I'll open it up to the public. AJ, I see you have your hand up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, AJ.
Yes, hi. I wanted to know, is this the charter school Eric and Jeffrey Dinowitz was protesting, or is this the one that cut down the tree and has to plant like 100+ trees?
I am not sure what you're referring to, but that's definitely not Girls Prep Bronx 2. I could tell you that. Yeah.
Okay, Daria, welcome. And I see you have your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, but the tree in front, is there the tree? Didn't you guys chop it down?
If there's a school in District 10 that's already in District 10 that you're referring to, we don't currently operate there. Our schools are in the South Bronx.
No, the 203rd Street location. Wasn't there a tree in front before construction and now it's gone and you guys have to plant like 100 or plus trees in the neighborhood? That was said at the Parks meeting.
Yeah, I'm not
Hi.
sure. I was gonna say, Jean Marie, if you want to jump in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm off camera. I had to pick up my my son from a religion class, so I'm in transit right now. And so I think we actually met at the last meeting. I was on the housing and land use meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, presenting on the school. So we are leasing a building onto the building that's being built on 203rd Street. And yes, there was a large tree at the site that did have to be removed. So I believe that our landlord is working with Parks and do have to plant trees to sort of make up for the tree that was at the site. So we are, my understanding is the landlord and the developer are cooperating with that mandate from Parks, as they should, to make sure that we have green streets in the Bronx and all over the city.
Thank you so much. Our children need trees. You shouldn't chop them down. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. So Daria, you were next in line.
Yes, hello, good evening, Principal Nolani. I want to say welcome to District 10. Thank you for bringing Girls Prep to this side of the Bronx. I have many colleagues who go to their children go to Boys Prep, so I'm very familiar with that building. Beautiful building. I'm pretty sure the 233rd Street location will be just as beautiful. I work for an organization that connects local charter schools with school safety grants that allow schools sometimes up to 100% funded for walkie-talkie, push-to-talk, 911 dispatch, things of that nature. I'd love to share some information with you. Since you're new to the neighborhood, there's maybe something great that you could connect with to get the school started from the ground up. So welcome to the Bronx, and hopefully we can keep the school very safe with some free money and free grants.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind sharing your email in the chat, and you've got the right folks, because our Jean Marie is our Chief Operating Officer. So I'll make sure that I know she's in transit, but I'll make sure she gets that information as well.
Perfect. I'll drop it in the chat, and just drop your information in the chat as well. I'll reach out. Thank you.
Awesome. Look at that. Heather, I saw you had your hand up. Do you still have a question?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon. I'm so impressed with the school. I wish when I was a little girl, I had a school like that to go to, even I went to private school. But I have a question. My question is, I am in love with both St. James and the Oval, but I was just kind of wondering, why was St. James picked and not the Oval to have your event on May 20th? Would it be close to the Oval? Which Oval Park will be a little close?
That's actually I'm going to jump in, Nolani, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, we are, so all of our schools so far in District 7 and 8. So to be totally honest, we're still really getting to know the community. So hearing about, Nolani and I were both taking a bunch of notes on the Oval and all the activities that are being held there. And we were excited to share them with our families during this call today. So I think that's actually something for us to look into. Because I also heard the presenter from the Oval share that they're having an event on the 20th, and we don't want to be in competition. So, so that is really great information for us. And again, I think this is why we're here. It's so helpful to be connected to you all and to learn more about the resources in the community, so that we are tapping into to all of them. So we're gonna make some connections. So Heather, really thank you. Appreciate you pushing us on that.
You're more than welcome.
Thanks, Heather.
Okay, Greg, I see you have your hand up. He might be having trouble unmuting. So I'll ask a question. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't unmute myself. Technical issues here. That building that you're moving into, first, welcome. And that building that you're moving into on is the old PS 307, which is going to be relocated. I think it would be really great to have some kind of an open house. I mean, to let the folks, because some of the neighbors in that are feeling a loss of a school. And it would be great to help by having some kind of open house when you move into that building to engage the local community. Maybe we can help with that. I think it would be a really great opportunity because a lot of them, the community is feeling a little bit of trauma. They feel they're losing a neighborhood school. And so I think at least temporarily, this would really be helpful if you, can find a way to reach out to them and maybe even get some students into your building from the local neighborhood.
Yeah, Greg, that's an awesome idea. We're right on the same page with you. We want to do some sort of open house event over the summer, just to let folks know who we are. But also, again, like I said, we're only as strong as the community around us. So we want to make sure we connect with you all and learn from you all about how to support and educate the scholars in District 10. So that's a great idea. We'd be happy to partner with anyone who wants to support that and be excited to do that. We did have an event this Saturday at the Jerome Park Library that's adjacent to that building. And we started to meet some folks from the neighborhood who were really excited to hear that we were joining. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for all of those great ideas.
Sure.
I have one more question. One thing that stood out to me about the presentation was the emphasis on literacy, and I think that's amazing. And I know you guys mentioned like the family engagement portion. Do you guys tie that together? Because I think like you talked about data. I think the data shows that those who have an at-home like literacy environment and are read to daily also in addition like outside of school benefit the most. So is that incorporated when speaking to parents?
100%. We ask that our parents make best efforts to either read to or ensure that their child reads at least 20 minutes a day for homework. And we also provide some structured homework activities so they can think about and write about to the extent that it's developmentally appropriate what they're reading. We also leverage our educational technology. So different apps like Reading A to Z provide students with text to read using a digital platform that they can access at home. And the texts are at their level, their appropriate reading level. So we're really, our families are really bought into that. They ask, when's the next step test? I want to know how they did. They'll ask like, can we talk in like what specifically did they need to work on? So they're very much invested in seeing them grow as readers. And, our families will come up to us. We've been working so hard, even not just literacy, but math. I have a student who, her mom was like, we're on IXL, it's one of our apps. She's like, we're on IXL every night, practicing, making sure that, she's putting some time in. So they're very, very much invested. And I think we connect those two things as we get them invested in like what the assessments mean and not just a number or like a random data point, but like this is, what this is telling us about their strengths as a reader, their needs as a reader.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, any final questions for Girls Prep Bronx 2? All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the community, and we hope to see you around. We meet monthly here, so you're always welcome to come back and share anything you guys got going on. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity.
Good night, everyone. Have a great evening.
Whoa, 1 second, Heather. Not too fast. I see Literacy Inc. is in the house. Do you guys want to share anything with us?
You can come.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Community Board 7. I know
did.
it's been a
I
long
turned off the
night.
camera. Wait,
Go ahead.
wait. It's on. Wait.
Go ahead.
All
Sorry
right,
about
great. No worries. I know it's late. American Idol is on. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but I will hurry up with my spiel. It is Literacy Month, and here at Link, we are definitely celebrating. We are having a jam-packed week full of events. Our first event is Wednesday at 4 o'clock via Zoom, and it is celebrating DIA, which is Diversity in Action. And we're also having pajama night over at the Kingsbridge Library. I know it's a little bit out of the area, but if you're able to travel up, you can come in your pajamas and join us. That's also at 4 p.m. And Saturday, we are going to go ahead and close off the month by having an author event over at Hope Park beginning at 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. we'll be there. If you want to join us for the author reading, that's at 11 a.m. So I know we've sent out the flyer to the community board. I don't know if you've gotten it, Lou. If not, we'll definitely go ahead and make sure that it's in your inbox. And for me, this is actually extremely bittersweet because this is my last official meeting with you guys. We have hired someone who's also from the Bronx, so we are definitely going to stay Bronx strong. Her name is Arisbel Villa. She is our new community engagement specialist for the Bronx. She's right there on your screen, and she will actually be joining you guys in the upcoming months to go ahead and share what we're doing and where we're going to be. But as you guys have known, I am a strong believer in community, so I'll definitely be stopping by as just a regular participant, even though you're not my community board, but I believe that only together can we go far. So it has been a pleasure for me coming to these meetings, learning with you and being in community with you guys. So for now, I say see you later. But if you do have families that are in the 0 to 5 age range, not only invite them to Link programs, but definitely have them sign up for the Imagination Library. My little one went through the program and she would love seeing her name on her books. So it does make a huge difference because those are her books that she wants to read and continues to read until now. So thank you all so very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Gladys. Thank you so much. Arisbel, would you like to briefly introduce yourself and just say hi real quick? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No problem. Hi, good evening, everyone. So my name is Arisbel. I am the new community engagement specialist for Link Literacy. I'm happy to be here, happy to work with everyone, and happy to see everyone in the fields, hopefully soon.
Awesome. Gladys, you will be missed, but I know that we'll see each other in community. You're definitely a community leader outside of your role at Link. Literacy Inc. is this area kind of lacks like CBOs, education CBOs, like resource wise and all of that good stuff. So Link is one of our most valued community-based organizations. We're very grateful to have them on and have like tremendous like programming and resources. So thank you guys. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Arisbel. Okay, that is the end of our meeting. We had a jam-packed agenda today. We typically meet on the first Monday of the month, but given that we had to change this month's date to the last Monday of the month, and next week is already the first Monday of the month, I think I'm gonna let it breathe for a little while we search for new presenters for next month. So stay tuned for an updated, I guess, next meeting date. I'm gonna say we want to aim for the 8th or the 15th, but just follow CB7 for any updates and stuff like that. Any last words? Any last questions? Anybody? Okay, thank you all. I will see you all next month, hopefully. Have a good night, and thank you all who joined us.